My name is Chaz Fuda. I am a psychologist from Australia, and today I want to talk about why you remember things that never actually happened. I think this is an essential thing that people need to understand as we move more and more into the world of the internet, but more importantly, AI and AI generated information. So, this is why you tend to remember things that never actually happened. It's a bit tricky because in order for you to remember something that never actually happened, you need to know that it's false in the first place, which is also quite difficult, but we'll get onto that later. I need to explain to you how memory works in human beings because people might not know how memory works. So, memory in human beings works through a mechanism called reconstruction. So, you reconstruct your memories in your mind the moment that you summon them. So, your brain is not actually walking around with a video camera, video recording everything that's going on in your life and then saving it as a film strip or saving it like a photo. The idea of photographic memory doesn't exist. So when you're recalling the memory, you're actually rebuilding it from different bits and pieces within the memory. Now, the reason why you start to remember things that never actually happened is because your brain does not take a 100% accurate photo of the thing you're remembering. You remember bits and pieces of the memory, and then your brain will pull bits and pieces from other memories based on how likely it is that you would see that thing in the memory. So, for example, every single room you've walked into, you might remember a few specific details of that room. And then when you go to remember the room, you'll remember the specific details of a particular room, but then you might pull a door or a chair or a photo into the reconstruction because you usually expect to see a door or a chair or a picture in the memory, even if that particular door, that particular chair, and that particular photo aren't actually in the specific room that you are recalling. It's because your brain works in terms of groups and in terms of what you usually would see in a particular memory. That's how it could get distorted. Further to the point, you don't always just pull in bits and pieces from different memories to reconstruct the memory. You also sometimes you will imagine details because you expect that particular detail to be present in that particular memory. So for example, if you were to remember this particular room in a year's time, you might remember me a little bit, but then you might have to imagine, oh, was there a door there? Was there another door there? I think there was only one door, and then you will just summon that particular door into the memory that you're recalling because you didn't actually specifically remember that door and that door because the details probably weren't essential. It's essential to remember me and what I'm saying, hopefully, or at least remember what I'm saying, which you probably will, hopefully. But these other small details, your brain will just discard because it isn't really needed for the particular memory. And then months or years later, you might recall what I'm saying, and then you'll have to reconstruct the elements of the room based on either your previous memories, so the doors in your house, for example, you might rebuild into my room, or you might just summon random doors and chairs and paintings anyway because you expect to see those things in this particular space. It is normal and usual to see doors and chairs and pictures in a room, so you're sort of building it based off of, I guess you could say, a mental shortcut or an expectation about the things that you would group together in a particular environment. So one of the psychological ways that we kind of, not that I figured this out because I don't do research, I'm just a clinician, but one of the ways that some of the research psychologists figured this out, that this is how people reconstruct their memories, is they would get people to memorize lists of related things. So for example, you might get a list of words of sleep, dream, and bedsheet. And then you might get the people to recall the list a couple of minutes, days, or weeks later. And because you have those three things, people might throw in other related ideas that they didn't exactly say in the word list. So you might also throw in pillow or sheep, maybe, or a nightlight, because those things are related to. God, my memory's terrible. I can't even remember the three words I said, to be honest. But I know it was all related to sleep. It was all related to what you would see in a bed and the things that you would associate with a bed: pillow, blanket, sheep, the letters Z, 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 and you see how you can reconstruct it based on what you expect within that particular object or environment. The final thing that I think is worth mentioning, that is worth mentioning, is why does the brain not take a photographic picture 100% accurate, and why does it that it reconstructs it over time? One of the main reasons why the brain does this is because if you were to record your life 24/7, you would have a huge database or a huge library of recordings, and your brain literally, like, how are you going to sift through that? How are you going to, you're just going to sit there like a robot and sort of watch the recording second to second to try and figure out what you need to remember for that particular day? It's a bit inefficient. Actually, it would be extremely inefficient, and I suspect that one of the reasons why we've evolved this way is because we need to have a trade-off between speed and accuracy. If you're out in the jungle and you're looking at something running at you, you don't have time to just sit there for an hour and replay all the video in your brain to figure out what's running at you. You need to quickly see, four legs, big teeth, yellow, probably a tiger or a lion, run.